Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Today I've got two real special guests. I took the trip down to Columbus, and I'm here today with two of my best friends and brothers, Ryan Druseikis and Brian Truckley. Thanks for letting me be at your place, and thanks for joining me today, guys.
What's up, Gurga? Yeah, welcome to Columbus, man.
Dude, it's been a long time since I've been able to see both of you guys. This is incredible. I'm glad to see you guys. So, Ryan, what's new, man?
So, all right, I've been listening to this podcast. A lot of you guys have probably heard it before. It's called Last Podcast on the Left. I'm a big fan, but I've been listening to this episode recently that is all about Flat Earth Believers. And it is fascinating, to say the least. So, in case you aren't aware, there are still people out there, despite modern technology and all of the scientific evidence in the world, people still believe in this conspiracy theory that the Earth is flat. And what blows my mind about it, even beyond all of the bullshit, is that it's the actual ground that you stand on, and for a lot of these people, it's the last stand. There is nothing it is the end of the road as far as conspiracy theories go.
Right.
So these people, naturally there are dozens of other conspiracy theories that lead up to this one, and they say, you know what, let's jump on this train too, because if they're lying about everything else, why wouldn't they lie about this one too? So just to give a little bit of a background here, what they believe is that the Earth is a disk, a flat disk. It doesn't move. It is not spaceship Earth. It sits stationary in the galaxy, and they think that NASA is responsible not for traveling into space, but to guard the edge of the rim so that people don't fall off, and so that people don't report the truth back to the rest. Off the edge of the Earth.
Dude, and you should see, there's a guy, okay, so me and Kreutz, one of our fraternity brothers, he got me hooked on this Netflix documentary about Flat Earth, and there's a guy who's making hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's not a millionaire, but he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars selling Flat Earth, dioramas or maps, and it's literally a plastic or silicone whatever disc, and he's got a rod in the middle with two little lights that come out the edge, and they rotate around, and the concept is one's the moon, one's the sun, and that's how they're tricking us, right?
And that's part of it, though, is they come up.
Are you kidding me?
That's part of it, though, is these people come up with these nonsensical, absolute, unbased, what do you call it? Fallacy. They come up with these fallacies, and in their mind, it makes total sense.
Well, in the documentary, they talk about how this is anti-science, because you're starting with where you want the answer to come out, and then you're working your way back, instead of trying the science and see where it comes out. So, here's these two guys, they have this theory, they go, okay, so, if the Earth is round, and they do all this math, these flat earthers, that we're going to take these boards, and we're going to separate them X feet away from each other, and shoot a laser through. And if the NASA liars are telling the truth, this dot will not go through the hole on the other side, because it'll be it'll be rounded, so the middle board will be up just so slightly, and the back two will be back down here, he goes, it's black dark. They set up the light. He's like, okay, we're going to prove NASA wrong, and this light's going to go right through. They turn on the light, and if you could see this guy's face when the thing is going right at the board, where science says it would be, and he's like, oh, fuck. It is amazing. And you're like, oh, didn't come out the way you wanted it to, huh?
And this guy just shit his pants. He's like, no, something's wrong here.
Yeah, literally. Oh, dude, it's too great.
It's just unbelievable when they make up this fake science, and they do it constantly. And they have, according to the Last Podcast on the Left, like I said, they do great research. They're awesome at what they do. They have this thing called vector math, which is not actual math. It's just this math they made up, but in their minds, they think that calculus and physics is also made up, so they're like, why can't I make my own math too? So all of this stems from absolute nothingness, but in their minds, they are convinced that they are right. And that the rest of the world is wrong. And in fact, they have nicknames for all of the 99.999 repeating percent of the world that knows that the Earth is round. They call them people like globetards, globers. I mean, there's this whole host of names that they have for people. And like I said, in their minds, they're just sitting there going like, I know the truth, but everybody else is wrong. And meanwhile, we're sitting here going like, dude, you need to go back to the home. I don't know who let you out, but probably time that they restrap you in.
Yeah. Yo, Alex Jones wants to fund specifically Eddie Bravo, because Eddie Bravo thinks the Earth is flat. He thinks the Earth is flat, and he wants to send Eddie Bravo to the end of the Earth to find the wall. And Eddie's like, no, I won't do it. They'll kill me. You gotta find someone else. Like, he thinks there's people guarding the wall that'll kill him. You're like, dude, there's no wall.
The problem with the whole thing is, there is absolutely there's no benefit gained from believing, from anyone saying that the Earth is flat. So you got, like I said, this is the end of the road when it comes to conspiracy theories. There's nothing else beyond this. Like, it's the actual ground that you stand on, but there's nothing to be gained from it. What would anybody gain from the Earth being flat versus being round?
Well, have you ever seen, darn, I can't think of it. It's on HBO. What's the show? Westworld. Have either of you seen Westworld?
I have not.
Very interesting show. But I'll be honest with you, I still can't finish the first season. It's just not captivating. Like, there's some really great HBO shows. I know a lot of people that love this one. I just can't get through halfway through the season. I keep just hitting a road stop, and I'm like, this is so boring. But it's got an interesting concept. And it's about this amusement park that rich people pay to go to. And it's like a giant Western society, like the Wild West. So it's got cowboys and saloons and hookers, and the whole place is full of tissue robots, and they're like real people, and they program them every day to be submissive players to these humans.
Wow.
But they're
I've
real.
seen the first 2 episodes.
Okay, so know
I know what
talking
you're
about.
talking. Yeah.
But for people who don't know, and for Ryan, so what happens is you can just
you could kill them.
you could spend your day doing whatever you want. You want to sleep with hookers. You want to go kill people. You want to go rob a bank. They've got anything. It's a day of living this type of life, and it's in a giant dome, and you have people in a building somewhere
Or
with
like
a
the
giant
Truman Show.
dome, just like the Truman Show. And it's okay, so to your question of why would somebody do it, okay, if we are sitting here in a world where we believe that space is infinite, do you know how big that is? We don't. Your brain literally can't comprehend how big that is. So if we can believe that a space is that large, why would it be out of the realm of possibilities? Just thinking, because I'm a philosopher, philosophy major, there's just as equal of a crazy, possibility that land can stretch for infinite space. So why couldn't somebody be in a dome? Now, we're not, obviously. When you sit there and pull up your flat earth video on your phone because the message is being shot out to space to a satellite that is in space because of the orbit of the globe.
And that's the irony of the whole thing.
And it comes back to tell you that the earth is flat. It's you're the idiot in all of this, but you never know. Until you personally are in a plane and you go, woo, for 80 days, and you're like, holy crap, I went all the way around. Until you know that,
unless you're not turning
Yeah.
You know, Truckley, you just went to Europe.
Yeah.
When I go to the other side of the globe, you sit in a chair, kick your feet back, close your eyes, while some other guy's like, "Oh, we're gonna get there, we're gonna get there, we're gonna get there," and then you get to the other side of the earth, and you're like, "Hey, we're here," but you have no idea what path you just took. Mm-hmm. And the theory of the flat earther is that you just went from here to here instead, you know, like on a flat disc, you went just straight across, or they'll go around to make you feel good, or whatever it is.
Well, because they have an answer for everything. You can say like, well, what about this? And they'll say, and they already have it mapped out, and it's all total
They don't have
bullshit.
anything better to do.
They don't.
It's always those people that have nothing going on.
Me and Kreutz were talking about it. What's hilarious about that documentary is the fact that these are people who are socially inept.
Yeah.
Perfect. Like, they are card playing. Anime watching.
Oh, of course they are.
Closet hiding.
Yeah. Well, and the real problem in my mind that comes of this is, like I said, Flat Earth comes with a whole host of other conspiracy theories that they automatically subscribe to. Because, like I said, if you believe, you know, if they're lying about one thing...
Oh, dude. Okay, sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties. The recorder on the microphone stopped recording, so... picking up where I left off.
Right. How do people like hear these things and start actually believing?
It's
and then they start.
Well, no, it gets to our point.
That.
It's sheer disparity. They need to be included in something.
Exactly.
It's a group. It's a society. This guy who started the idea that back in this documentary, the guy who started it is he lives with his mom, very lonely old guy, and everybody praises him. He's like, have you ever seen Old Country or whatever the Netflix documentary about the Indian culture that moved into that city in Oregon? Please tell me you've heard about that.
No.
Oh, I'll tell you about that in a second. But he's praised just like, you know, the religious figure in that documentary. It's like people need to be included into some group, and because they're social rejects, this is
what they resort to. Exactly.
Yes.
Well, and it all stems from this guy named Bill Cooper. William Cooper is the father of modern conspiracy, and people subscribe to whatever he has to say. The reason that all this is so dangerous is because when you get celebrities that have such a powerful voice, like Kyrie Irving is a flat earth believer, Snoop Dogg now, and they say these things, and these people...
Yeah, doesn't Wiz believe it too?
Wiz Khalifa believes it, and when they have such a powerful influence over the rest of culture, then it has an impact on other things, because like I said, they subscribe to dozens of other conspiracy theories, such as anti-vaccinations, and that has an actual impact on public health. So while there is nothing to be gained from flat earth, there is a detrimental impact on the rest of the world when it comes to things like vaccinations. So that's the reason that all this matters, and it's so mind-blowing that people subscribe to this thought, you know, this mentality based on absolutely nothing.
Okay, you ready for this? The documentary is called Wild Wild Country. If you haven't seen it, watch it because it's super entertaining.
Is this on Netflix?
It's extremely interesting, and it's real. Yes. And this is something that happened. It happened in like the 90s or the 80s. Fine. I'll get exactly when it happened because now that's important. So here's what happened. This guy Rajneesh, he was this figure that came from India. And
is this the one that started the cult out in New Mexico?
It's in Oregon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, in Oregon. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In the middle of the woods, in the forest. These guys... So, one day, the white-collar coal miner people, like your classic cold-blooded, red-blooded American, is in their front yards, and these people in red garbs, like drapes around them, are walking through the street. And they're like, where are all these people coming from? And they're coming by the masses. And they, because of this religion, where this guy started a religion in India, and he made buku bucks. And he came over here and bought a shitload of land. And with this land, he had like 50% of the property of the city. And
What?
they told the country that their homeless people could come to this spot and live and be a part of the Rajneesh religion and be a member of their cult, right? And it became a cult. Well,
A bunch of homeless people.
dude, the
Banded
homeless
together.
Basically
people were coming
San
by the
Francisco.
That's
masses.
gotta be scary as shit.
Oh, wait. It gets better. It gets even better. These people were able to outvote the city and take control
No
of it
way.
completely. And then there was this just like divide and war between the American like people there
Working society
and
homeless
these
society.
religious
Oh,
figures,
no.
and it started getting really physical. And this guy was. He was weird, and it's just an interesting story. But
Yeah, so I watched a documentary about that guy. I mean, it was a real short one, and it might have even been the same one that you're talking about. But this dude was absolutely insane. First of all, he fucked like 5,000 women, like
all of that.
thousands and thousands. Like people would show up and he'd just be like, "Fuck them," and then they would stay on the on the land, and then they would just like live there. But this is just what this dude did. So he collecting money, fucking everyone he wants to, and then just mind controlling the masses. And you look at this, it's like a Jonestown thing where you're like, how does anybody look at this thing and go, oh yeah, this is...
that makes sense.
I'm on board with
Yeah.
this, for sure. It just doesn't make any sense, and you cannot wrap your head around it. I don't get it at all. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's people need like something to belong to. That's what you're seeing with like this liberal movement, right? Like these people are banding together that would never band together. Like, look at the LGBT RNZ LMNOP plus
Divided by.
divided by. If you look at this movement, some of these, like, I have friends at school that are like, I'm gay, but I don't support this person who thinks they're an elf. Like, we're in two different worlds.
Yeah.
And banning, but it's like people need to like the power is in the numbers, and so yeah, we're a small group, but if we band together, it doesn't matter what our thread that sews us together is. If we believe that we're on a disc, or we believe that Rajneesh has the answer, like,
Right.
I need something to belong to.
And as long as they have the other people around them that are supporting the same thing, then they're going to keep doing that. And we can sit here and we can say like, no, it's like if you went up to somebody and you said, and they said the sky is purple, and you could go, no, the sky is blue. Like here's the science behind it. Like here's the evidence, and they'll just go, nope, the sky's purple. Nope, doesn't matter. Nope, and I'll be like, no. Like they've done a lot of research on this. You can
Or look up.
Yeah, you can use your own, but
Yeah, but see, I don't care. No, it's not. It's not blue.
But when it comes to conspiracy theories like this, they, like I said, they have an answer for everything. So they can say, "Oh no, NASA's behind it." They have this, this dome over us that it projects a blue screen, but it's actually purple. Not that that's what they actually believe, but it's that same mentality, and that's what they do to rationalize their thought process.
So I'll tell you later what this girl I asked this question to, what her answer was, but I'm curious what your answer will be, because I think you'll actually answer it the way I wanted it answered. So if you could have the answer to any conspiracy theory, like regular, maybe Americanized, like what if you could have an answer to a conspiracy theory, what would it be?
John Benet Ramsey.
John Benet Ramsey.
I don't even know what that is.
I want to know that shit.
It's like a little 8-year-old girl.
I think back in 1996, it was this girl who.
The Office had it pretty.
Yeah. Oh. So.
That's why Brian knows it.
That's how I know of John Benet Ramsey is watching The Office.
So
that's how I learned about John Benet Ramsey.
To give a little bit of context behind it, on Christmas Day of 1996, a little girl, I think she was 5 or 6 years old, was found murdered in her parents' basement. Now her parents were ultra fucking rich. I mean, just had oodles of money. And again, last podcast on the left is a really good coverage of it, but it's one of the most botched investigations of all time. The Boulder Police Department screwed up so badly.
Yeah, she was 6 years old.
6 years old.
Boulder, Colorado.
Yep, and they found a ransom note that was like 400 words long, which on average ransom notes are generally like 15 words or less. So there are all these things, but people naturally just, the conspiracy theorists just jump to all these different things. And last podcast covers a lot of it, but like, it goes as far as 9/11. It goes as far, just all these different things that are nonsensical. And I myself am a believer in Occam's razor that the most simple explanation is probably the most likely one. The Ramseys didn't kill it. It was probably because this girl was a child beauty pageant, like toddlers and tiaras
that
thing.
her mother found a 2.5-page ransom note detailing that he demanded $118,000,
Which is an oddly specific number, but the reason that matters is because that happened to be the exact amount of John Bennett Ramsey's bonus that year.
her husband. Yeah, the value of a bonus her husband had received.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it would have had to have been somebody that knew what his bonus was going to be, like knew that he could get that money very, very quickly. Probably someone that he worked with. I mean, you listen to it. There's a lot of stuff going on with it. I recommend researching it further. But it's that same kind of conspiracy theory where this is a murder mystery that hasn't been solved. That's the one that I haven't know the truth to.
Dang.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It is absolutely insane.
So here's the thing, though. It's funny that, like, even you guys interpreted it slightly different.
See, I don't think
know
that's
if
a
that's
conspiracy.
bingo. That's what I was going to go with. Okay, so first off, if you could have the answer to any murder story, I might want to know.
Yeah.
Well, that is probably the one I would pick.
I think that
or 9/11. Those are the two
9/11,
conspiracy
yeah.
level.
Well, Charizard did 9/11.
9/11 just because I want people to shut the fuck up.
Right. Or go after the Cheneys,
But
right?
then
right.
It's one or two of those things. We either are getting our pitchforks and going after the Cheneys, or you all need to shut the fuck up.
We have the answer. It's just whether or not people accept it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
I don't know, man. That's probably why 9/11 would be the one I pick, because there's some real fishy shit going on. Have you watched the movie Cheney when it came out?
No,
They
I
do this real slight thing that people, like, if you know what's going on and you know the story, all they do is at the beginning of the story, they go, Dick Cheney owns this company. And never bring up that again. They never acknowledge that Dick Cheney owns this company. Why? Because that's how he played this game. He didn't allow, he camouflaged his tie to this company for so long, and everybody knew it, but it was out of the American or the social mind. Like, nobody thought of it. Nobody had that connection. And so this entire time, they just show, okay, he's doing this. He's getting George W. Bush to become president. He's getting George W. Bush to pick him as his vice president. He's doing all, and even well before that, all these moves he's making.
Well, dude,
and
this
then,
is just politics, dude.
But while he's making those
constantly.
moves, the documentary goes, and this is how much this company's worth. And this is how much the company's worth. And ironically, at 9/11, that company exploded in how much money it got. And I didn't mean it to use that type of language. But
I know what you're saying.
It blew up because the money, and then that's what sent us to war. And do you want to know what the company was? The company was selling us our war materials. So this man was invested in just blowing shit up. It doesn't matter who it is. As long as we can get the American public behind somebody that we can target, weapons of mass destruction that we found nothing of.
Dude, listen. Occam's razor, some pissed off Middle Eastern people hijacked a plane and flew it into a fucking building, and that's it. There are a ton of companies that, of course, naturally... Dude, look at Home Depot. Home Depot stocks skyrocket after a hurricane. But hurricanes aren't a result of the government modifying the fucking, the weather, the climate.
I don't know about that.
No. Occam's razor, some pissed off Iranian dudes flew a plane into the fucking World Trade Center, and that's it. That's all that happened. That's it.
Or
some Iraqi. It's all the same shitty.
Or the
fucking,
government did it, and dude, how come some really important people knew not to go to work that day? That's some really creepy shit. There's some stuff out there. And listen, I don't believe it, and I'm going to live out my life as if some Occam's razor, some crazy motherfuckers just got on a plane and flew into a building.
There are people at my office that are gone on certain days too. Like it's not that they actively knew what was going on. It's that people
but it wasn't
people
an
take
ironic
vacations.
amount.
People take vacations. It was what was it? It was a Monday or a Tuesday or something or
I can't remember. I don't
It was
know.
definitely during the week.
it was during the week.
Yeah, it was definitely during the
but
week.
people are on vacation. I mean, it's not. I don't think that anything's planned. Strategically. Who would have skipped? That would have been.
You heard that, right?
That super important. Wait, what?
I think I heard somebody enter your house.
Oh, it's probably the wind, because you have the window open and the change in pressure,
Oh, is the
Makes-
window open? I thought we closed it.
Well, hey, either.
Hey guys,
Hey, at
we
least
might
we
get
are
murdered.
recording,
Yeah.
and you guys are all about to witness it.
Yeah.
You gotta upload it first.
Oh man, yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, and then he just.
You know
sees
what?
the phone and
I want the
cracks
answer
it
to
in
this
half.
conspiracy theory.
No, I honestly, I think
fuck is
if
my
I had an
door?
answer one, I would want it to be JFK. Did the
JFK.
FBI do it? That'd be great. That's a good one.
For the moon landing.
No, that happened.
Dude, JFK
No, I'm not
was a
saying-
Here, can we talk about something that's really a big deal?
Yeah.
Can we acknowledge that we're about to change all satellites into 5G, and so many specialists are out here going, "Don't do it! It's gonna cook us all!" And we're like,
I would
"No!"
need faster internet.
Dude, I
I
am here
need
for it.
faster internet.
I am here for it.
You're here for it. And as another person's growing out of your side, you're like, "Yeah, this is Teddy the tumor." But I can search Instagram instantly. Yeah, dude, I'm worried about this 5G stuff. I'm really worried that it's not going to be healthy for us.
Tell me more about what you're worried about.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
no.
we'll be fine.
You think it will be fine?
I do.
I don't know, man. I think they're just gonna wing it. It's gonna be like cigarettes. We'll find out later down the line, like, shit.
Dude, whatever. Take 10 years off my life. I don't give a shit as long as my Snap story goes through because I have hilarious things to say. And I need my friends to see them.
Amen. Amen. That is extremely relatable. All right, I think we need to change the pace. Get
All
a
right.
laugh here. So what?
Oh, I was gonna say Brian went to Europe.
Yeah. So speaking of flat discs, and you went to the other side of this disc.
Yes, I did.
Did you like just
Just from
spin
here
it like wiggle wiggle, and you just went to the other side? How was it? Where'd you go?
I went to France, so their food sucked.
They suck. Can
Dude,
we acknowledge?
French food is
Paris,
overrated
you
and
think,
Parisians
it was
are assholes.
great. It was
No,
great
say
to
it. Be
see-
honest. It was shitty.
No,
The
it was
people
great.
suck.
It was great. Oh, the people smell like shit, dude.
They're the grossest of Europe.
They're
They're so
don't
gross.
know what deodorant is.
No.
It is disgusting.
They are the grossest
No.
of Europe.
And they're all
It was
assholes.
great. It was-
Can
Every
we
one of them.
acknowledge going to another country and seeing French people is the worst of French people? It's the
course.
worst of French
I
people.
found out my name is like a joke.
You're Brian from America. Look at Brian from America.
I mean, we've been
I'm not kidding. Yes.
Is that true?
Yes, so I guess like in Paris, like the way that they're taught English growing up in school is, where's Brian? Where's Brian's family? What room is Brian in?
like, all right,
What is
Pierre.
Brian doing? And like this stand-up comedian
you're Brian.
has this joke, and so I'm watching the Champions League final, the soccer game between the Spurs and Liverpool, and this French dude comes up to me and he's like, "What team do you support?" And I'm like, I'm going for Liverpool. And he goes, "What's your name?" I go, "Brian." He goes, I'm like, "What? Like, what's going on? Like, why is that funny?" He's like, "Oh no, there's just a joke about you." And I'm like,
About you specifically.
yeah, I'm like, "Okay, thanks, dude." And he just like walked away. He didn't decide to
There's
like,
a joke about you.
explain himself, so I just looked it up, and I'm like, okay, I guess.
Now, don't get me wrong. When I studied abroad, I met tons of great French people, and some of them are the nicest people ever. But there's an equal amount that are just shitty. And they
Okay,
Dude, the taxi back to the
Ew.
airport spoke perfectly, no accent. I don't speak English, and then just
I don't
say
speak
anything.
English. He's
He's got like a southern drawl. I don't speak English.
That's funny.
with his $10 hat on.
I don't
and his
speak
cowboy
English.
boots.
Spitting chew into a cup.
We listened to Keith Urban all the way to the airport.
Adios.
Yeah, but the food
I don't
sucked,
speak English.
dude. The food was so disappointing in Paris.
Yo, can I tell you what happened when we went to France? Sorry, not to derail.
No.
So we go to this restaurant, and it's the four of us, my family. And the guy comes up to us, and he goes, "Hey," the waiter, he's like, "Would you guys like some garlic bread?" And we're like, "Sure." You know, the way he proposed it, and let us, like...
Fucking charge it for it.
Yeah! No, he goes, "Oh, yeah," and you just think it's like the garlic bread. So he gives us our plate of garlic bread. And it's 4 rolls, or not rolls, but like take whatever those bread sticks that you could shove up someone's ass,
Yeah.
the long,
Looks like a
maybe
double-ended
this big
dildo,
around.
Just fucking.
They cut 4 little discs like this big around.
Okay.
They were maybe that thick at the most. Just a little bit of cheese, just the tiniest bit. No garlic, no butter. That gets put down to us. It was the shittiest bread ever. We get our bill. It was $80 for that fucking garlic bread.
No.
$80.
Oh,
The French
God.
fuck you over. That is the French, man. This is why they lose. Because you get your bread and you're like, this is why we hate you. This is why no one respects you.
$80?
Yeah,
I would have lost my shit.
Mind you, you're walking to the restaurant through France and there's shit on the ground everywhere. You're
Yeah.
like, do people just poop on the
Yeah.
floor? It's everywhere.
Dude, every
felt
time
like
I
I was
see...
in
Yeah. Oh, my
India.
God.
Dude, my sister went to
Monkeys might have
China.
been
My sister went to
walking
China and
around.
she said people literally just... Whoa. People just drop their pants.
Drop
and
drawer?
poop on...
Oh, my God.
Yo. There is malls. The Louvre.
Yeah.
Someone... Was it you that told me this? It may have been you, or I may have heard it on Joe Rogan's podcast. But apparently the Louvre now has a sign in it that says, "Please, no pooping on the floor."
Oh my
Because
God.
the Asian tourists
Which is
just drop trout and dump on the floor,
my God.
and then they walk away like someone like, that's not my job. And
I did not see that sign, but I definitely
look
would
it
have
up.
sent you a picture if I did.
Dude, every time I get... Like, when I was in Europe, every
What
time I had...
goes through somebody's mind that they even want to do
No
that?
idea. No idea.
I would never.
No, wait.
Even
It's
if I
not
had
like-
the option, if
But
I
that's-
had the option that it was socially okay,
I wouldn't
I
even
still
think
would.
about it.
It is the Louvre. And have Chinese replaced Americans as the worst tourists? That's where it was. It was the Legion of Skanks is where I heard it. And it's like, no, Americans are the best tourists, like bar none. Why? Because the people that are touring are the rich people, so they have civility. Dude, when we went to Italy, me and my dad were playing football because the only thing we gave a shit about was stay on your side of the sidewalk. We will walk right through you because we were getting so annoyed with Europeans like, and my dad's like, this is their place, so don't get. And I'm like, I was getting so pissed by the end of when we were in Italy because I just wanted to wring these people's necks.
Yes.
Europeans move like assholes. When me and Jake went to Dubai, we had to dress a specific way to go into the mosques. And these French people were making a scene because this asshole wasn't going to be allowed in with his tap-out tank top shirt
my
on.
God.
Like, get the fuck out of here, you French motherfucker! You are in a tank top,
Dude.
trying to get into a mosque where the chick next to you is in a bed sheet where you
Yeah.
can't even see her eyes, and you think you're going to get in with a tank top.
A tap out one, nonetheless.
How dead is tap out?
I have never seen another person wearing a tap out shirt, and I've been like, I want to be friends with that guy. I have never had that thought before.
I just picture the guy trying to walk in with a monster, and he's got a flat bill on backwards.
Of course.
He's sagging his shorts, but he's still wearing a belt.
Oh my god.
He's got Echo skate
So
shoes.
wait, where are all the places you went to again?
Florence was next after Paris for 4 days. Well, the only thing I liked about Paris was the museums. The museums and going to Versailles was insane. It was so beautiful.
Did you actually end up going through the Louvre?
Yeah.
You see like Winged Glory. That's
Yep.
a pretty sweet statue.
Yeah, dude, I have so many pictures.
The Mona
It's
Lisa's
insane.
in there. I mean, you have. I mean,
Yeah,
you
but
have,
that was
you have all
underwhelming as
kind-
shit, dude. You think it's gonna
it's
be
small.
like bigger than what it is? Yeah.
Dude, it's real small. It's like the
like-
size of my laptop right now.
He has so
Legit?
many better.
Oh yeah, it's not real big at all. It's what maybe
yeah, it's just a portrait.
yeah,
It's-
maybe half the size of this.
Wow.
yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
I definitely would have
It only
expected
got
you to do
famous because somebody stole it. When they stole it, people didn't know for like another week that it was even gone.
Yeah.
Like that's why it's famous.
And
it was stolen.
Da Vinci, is of course. I mean, he was a genius.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Yeah,
he's,
incredible.
a mastermind. But yeah, I mean, it was no big deal at the time. And then once it got stolen, then people freaked the fuck out. And oh, look, all I'm saying is every time I was in France and I had some dickhead French waiter that was being an asshole to me, I'd be like, remember 1944 when we liberated your country? You're welcome for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing also about the French is they were like trying to be America the whole time. They're
Yes.
like, oh, that revolutionary shit. I like some of that, but they fucked it up.
Right, exactly.
Like,
they fucked it up.
They try to be us and they just can't.
So my buddy from back home would geek
I'm
us
still
out
wearing that
growing
hat,
up
though.
as a kid. Yeah, what the heck?
It's a sweet hat.
I do like it.
Okay, so my buddy Jake, when we were a kid, he would always do this impression of French people and it would always geek us out. And he would be like, "You want to fight? I surrender!" And we would just geek out. And that's all I can think of when I think of France. It's like, you guys are a bunch of pussies. And I hate being in your country. When you have to go to another country, like you're going to Germany, or you're going to Italy, and you have to stop in Italy, or in Paris, or even just like in France in general, just staying in their terminal will piss you off.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course.
It's like just dropping down in this country is irritating. It's like the fact that it's been a cultural thing that like the Eiffel Tower. Okay, so now you're stuck. You have to go to this asshole country to see something.
Dude,
and
I
then,
spent like no time at the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, you see it and you're like,
see it,
alright,
you're
cool.
You see it and
that's
you're-
fucking big.
Maybe you can,
And then
you can go up
and then
in
you
it,
take
yeah.
pictures and you're like,
And you're like, let's
All
go
right.
do something
what do I do
exciting
now?
now.
Like,
Yeah.
it's almost like, what do I do with my hands?
Let's go eat. Let's go eat some shitty French food now. Get some fucking snails or something.
yeah, it's all terrible.
Yeah.
Snails.
The only snails I saw were being cooked over a fire, like inside of a trash can, being sold
Ew.
by some dude with water bottles. Like that.
Yeah.
Those were the only snails that I saw being
Right.
sold. But anyway, Florence, food phenomenal. Great, best food on the trip.
Yeah.
People were great. They spoke English like very well. A lot of gypsies. And they all tried to do that. They like you could just tell. Like they
Yeah.
were all playing the same thing. They all acted like they were like handicapped poor people, but they all had the same exact problem. Where it was like one cane in the right hand, and they would all be hunched over, and just like shaking, and then walk with like duck feet. Like
Yeah.
all of them. It was insane.
How bizarre. Like, this
And
is the way
but
we
people
do.
were still giving them like, how do you?
Yo, you know what killed me when we were in Italy? There was this little girl. So here's a mom holding a speaker, and it's a big, like, old 80s boombox. And it's playing old, like, Latin, Spanish, like, dance music. And this little girl is, like, moving her hips and twerking. And I'm like, this was the most sexual dancing I've ever seen. And she had to have been, like, 4.
What the hell?
And she's going to every person, like, and we're like, yo.
You're selling out your kid.
Talk about exploitation.
That sucks. I mean, you're pimping your kids out there, like they're 3-4 years old, and just trying to make a buck out there, and it's like, dude, how did you get to this point? And unfortunately, these kids are probably going to be doing the same thing.
If you
know?
pimp
Bingo.
out your kid,
Right.
Are you gonna automatically make them your bottom bitch?
I think you have to.
I mean,
is
that's
that
where you
just the
start.
default, or do you still make them earn it?
That's world. That's life. Okay, I got a question for you guys. So I work at the courthouse. 21-year-old kid, getting arrested for a felony. Right? He's in jail. Now, here's the biggest kicker. The thing that's really
Wait,
is,
real quick, what was the crime? What was?
I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
Well, the felony is theft.
Okay.
which is funny because I go to law school in Pennsylvania, and I was taught
The fuck is there to
theft,
steal in Pennsylvania?
and then they go, theft is not on the exam. We do not do theft. We do robbery, we do larceny, we do not do theft. And as soon as I sit down and start doing work at the judge's office, first case, theft. I'm like, same class. He goes, mischief. Mischief is not a crime here. We get taught mischief. He goes, no mischief. Second case, I'm like, no shit, mischief. I'm like, why am I in Pennsylvania? Okay, but that's just side rant. So this guy did a felony, and he's there for theft, and it's grand theft. So I'm like, he had to have stolen a lot.
And grand theft is when the value is over a certain amount,
Right, and I gotta find out what it is in Ohio, because I was asking one of the lawyers, and they didn't know right off the top of their head, which is sad. But I was like, is it 500 or is it 1,000 that makes it a felony? In PA, I think it's 500. But this person stole $1,200 worth of stuff, which is not that much.
When the value of property
Yeah,
or
it's
services stolen is more than $7,500 but less than $150,000, or the property is a motor vehicle or any dangerous drug, a theft offense in Ohio constitutes grand theft, a felony of the 4th degree.
Okay, but that can change from state
So
to state,
it's
too.
It's within that
Yeah.
range.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
always state.
What would
Well,
it be
no, but it was
over
1,200.
150,000?
It was 1,200. The felony charge was 1,200. So I think
Pennsylvania-
it's 500 or
so-
1,000.
But, I mean, it's not just a dollar amount, at least for Ohio, it's not just
Well,
a
no,
dollar
I'm
amount.
talking about the courthouse in Ohio.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that I'm working at this summer.
Okay.
So whatever, this guy stole $1,200, and he's in on a felony charge. But this is like at a municipal court. So hold on, I'll find out for sure right now. But nonetheless, okay, so here's the question. Oh, but here's the curveball. When I ask you this question, you got to put yourself in a place. This is the biggest learning curve for me at this courthouse, because I'm surrounded by such poor people. All poor people. There's not a wealthy person in there. And, there is, but there really isn't. There's a type in there.
Oh, of
course.
Yeah.
Boom. Typically between 500 and 1,000. Literally,
Okay.
stolen property's value is often what determines a crime is a felony or a misdemeanor. For felony theft, the value of the property must exceed a minimum amount established by state law, typically between 500 and 1,000. So, literally the two that I was telling you. But I'm wondering what it is in Ohio. 1,000. So, this guy stole $1,200, but guess how he did it? He worked at... Now, the girl who was telling me, one, she gets a kick out of the fact that I call myself Wilson from Home Improvement, because we are in cubicles, and I'm always like, hi, Danita! And I'm just like, yeah, and I'm like, I'm Wilson for you, and she just gets a kick out of that. So, anyway, I was like, what happened? And she's just like, she gossips terribly. It's like, either say it or don't. No in between.
She do that bullshit, beat around the bush, kind of like...
Oh, you can't hear her.
wanna
She's just
say
like, I can't tell you. Right. Kind of that. So I'm like, what was it? How much? So I don't know the most details, but I know that this guy worked at some kind of business, like a Dillard's of some sort.
Okay.
Like a store, like
Yeah.
a retail store. And I don't know if it was clothes or what, but he would take people's money and then he would offer them to pay him in cash, and he would do the employee discount for them. So they would pay him in cash and give him $20 or something. They throw him some cash. He would do the employee discount, and anyway, they did the total amount of theft of $1,200. So part of that's got to be, the dollar amount includes what he just gave them in his employee discount. So the discount adds up. So it's how much really was it?
Yeah.
But he stole from this company $1,200. He's 21.
Damn.
That's pretty young.
Yeah.
The dad comes in, and he's like, okay, she's like, okay, that's going to be $5,000 bond, or you could pay 10%, down cash. So that it would be $500. And I was like, you gotta do that for your kid. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't do that.
Of course, yeah.
But Danita's a mom, and she was like, no, I'd probably leave him in there and make him learn his lesson. So there's two sides to this coin.
Whoa.
Your kid needs to learn his lesson. But at the same
But
time,
isn't
your
he
kid
thinking
is
about
really
that?
young. I think just the shock of being there alone is enough.
Oh, of course.
And I, as somebody who's going into the professional field of law, will be the first to tell you that jail rehabilitates no one.
Oh, of course
And
not.
so
yeah.
if you think your kid's going to go there and be fixed and learn his lesson, well, the proof is in the pudding. That is not the common outcome of what happens in jail. And at such a young age, it's like, this is a kid. This person still has a chance to turn this truck around.
Yeah.
And I live on the side of the fence where it's $500. It's a bond. It turns out to be $554. You have to pay like a fee. The $54 is what you don't get back.
Right.
But if your asshole kid shows up to court, you get your $500 back, win or lose.
Right.
So be a good parent and make sure his ass is in court, and then you don't have to worry about losing your $500.
Just
do
that-
your job as a parent.
Yeah.
Parent the motherfucker instead of waiting for the cop who has him in a concrete box to parent him for
Dude,
you.
$54 is my fucking bar tab on an average
Exactly.
Friday night.
Bingo.
You know, like,
So where I live on the side of the fence, but I also understand that I have a dad that $500 is affordable. Like, it's not that we could lose $500, that's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, he'd be willing to pay $500 for his kid's life.
yeah. Right.
So it's like, we're also talking about people who don't have money.
literally don't have $500.
Don't have $500. So this guy's going to now either have to really scrape up some cash.
Oh, yeah.
And he left, Danita was kind of like, yeah, I don't blame you. And he was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going home, I'm going to make him sit on it. And I'm like, damn.
Woof, yeah.
Well,
and I'm with you. I mean, we could do an entire episode on the prison system, but I'm with
Easily.
you that, I mean, spending time in prison or jail even is just not, I mean, that doesn't make you want to be better. It just makes you angry, And you hear
It's
it from,
gotta be just mentally crippled.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you hear it from prisoners all the time. It's like, this hasn't helped me at all, yeah, I committed a crime, but this hasn't rehabilitated me. And they're like, this just made me angrier. This just makes me want to go fight people and, commit other crimes. This isn't,
Norway. Bingo. Okay. So, speaking about how shitty our jail system is, Norway has these luxury
yeah,
jail cells
Yeah.
where you get literally it would be this, Ryan, your bedroom would be jail. And does this seem like a jail to you? Plus you get a computer with internet.
Yeah.
So it's like you get to be a functioning person, you get to still keep up with society and trends
course.
and teach yourself things, you can be
And what Norway has one of the lowest recidivism rates
Yes.
in the world too. So something's
and we
working.
have the highest.
And we have the highest one. Yeah,
And we have the
exactly.
highest incarceration rate.
Yeah, right. And I think there's something
Like
to
you
be
said,
said. I think there's a difference between getting dangerous people off the street, right? I mean, if you have people that are fucking, chopping people up into thousands of little pieces and FedExing them across the world, you need to put them away or just fucking just electrocute
Get rid of them, yeah.
instantly, electrocute them, whatever. But you have other people that they fucked up once, but they have a chance and they can still do right in the world, but you got to give them that opportunity. And when you lock them up with the people that are butchering, bunches and bunches of people and FedExing their body pieces all over the world, then of course they're just going to get angry and pissed off when they're getting their butt cheeks spread in a prison shower. That's not going to be good for them, right? That's not good
Right.
for anybody.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a real problem with the fact that if you are incarcerated of a felony, or you're convicted at all of a felony, that you are no longer allowed to vote. And it's like, that seems against the theory of democracy, where I have a say in who the laws and who puts me away. Well, if you put me away and then you stop me from having say in who puts me away, it's pretty anti-democratic, seems a little authoritarian. You're authoritative. You can literally dictate. Dude, that keeps freaking me out. The door clicking.
Yeah,
I'm like.
It gives me a mini heart attack every time.
But okay, so recently, 2 states have allowed for felons to vote. Like okay, so
Which ones are they?
Maine and Vermont allow.
Of course, Vermont did.
Yes, of course, exactly. You can restore it after prison in a bunch of states. Ohio is one of them. 16 states, including D.C.
Wait, say that one more time. What can you do?
So the vote can be restored after prison time. So that means after you get out of prison, after some statutory period, you can probably petition.
That makes sense to me. I mean, if you commit a crime and you paid your dues, you owned up.
I think you should just be allowed. Period. I shouldn't have to ask for my vote back.
Yeah, exactly.
You just get your vote back.
I think that once you're released from prison or jail, you should just be you have your full privileges as a citizen. Because you did it, unless you're fucking kids or something like that. I mean, maybe we just electrocute those people anyway. Just
but back to this point, something that the LGBT LMNOP has to reconcile, plus divided by, has to reconcile with. They are now having to struggle with the fact that pedophiles, and my dad called it a long time ago, this was inevitable. Mm-hmm. It was inevitable that the pedophiles are going to go, well, it's out of his control that he's a boy in a girl's body. It's out of her control that she's into girls. It's out of my control that I need to touch that sweet baby boy ass. And now, you've got some gay guy that's like, whoa, I'm fighting for my right to marry my husband, not that dude's right to touch a boy. And so there's this new movement that's coming out, and I feel like at some point you can't draw the line there. If you're going to say, hey, you committed a felony, you committed murder, you did all this other things, and you paid your dues, and you're allowed to vote now, these LGBTQers, the rainbow, this is the month of the rainbow. The rainbow's going to come at you and they're going to say, hey, he paid his dues. He's allowed to vote now because he should be allowed to have a say in what the rainbow's not allowed to do. Because it's the rainbow.
Unbelievably, there are organizations out there like NAMBLA.
What is NAMBLA?
So I think NAMBLA, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it stands for the National Association of Man-Boy Love Advocates. This is
North American Man-Boy Love Association.
Okay. Yeah.
What?
Isn't that what South Park's episode
They have an entire South Park episode on it. And
is that how you heard about this?
It is, yeah.
Okay, I was going to say, I hope that's the only way somebody hears about
this. It's so ridiculous that I was like, oh, South Park made this shit up. No, they didn't. This thing exists. And what they say is that, no, the man boy love association, the man boy love thing. It's just like being gay, or it's just like it's just like a and it's not the same thing. You're fucking kids. You're fucking kids. There's no way around it other than that. Look at what you. But they justify it that exact same way.
Right. Yeah, that is it. Right. It's out of my control. I'm sorry.
And they're like, this is just how I am. Why should I be punished for how I am?
And Ben Shapiro got ridiculed for being on Joe Rogan's podcast when he was like, yo, I feel like God gives us all our own struggle. You have to, there's fat people. They're highly addicted to food. Their struggle in life is going to have to be getting over that. Or, and he's like, I think, there's gay people, but God didn't want, this is him. This is him, not me. Yeah. But he's like, I feel like that's God's struggle for them, and that they want dick, but really they gotta go for this pussy.
Whoa.
And
I think I do remember you telling me about that.
So it's like, what if, I'm sorry, pedophile, but what if that's your life struggle? Sorry, that's just not okay. And at the same time, though, you gotta, philosophy coming back at you, you gotta push back. These are just social created lines.
Of course, yeah.
But why? I mean, there's a reason for them, right? I was in First Amendment class and we talked about obscenity and child porn, and it's like, at some point, why is this innate in our nature?
Right.
Right? Yes, there are cultures that don't fight against it. Yes, there's cultures that allow some more sexually promiscuous things with children. But for the most part, there's a consistency among tribes across this flat disc that we're all in agreement that this is messed up.
Right. Actually, it's interesting to bring up the First Amendment. I'm curious from a law student's perspective. The First Amendment incorporates kind of a lot of things, whereas the rest of them are like specific. You know,
100%.
Do you guys cover that? Like, is there a reason
100%.
why?
So like my best class in law school, humble brag here, I got the A in First Amendment.
Okay.
Because it's competitive. It's a bell curve. So I got the A. In
Attaboy.
First Amendment.
Attaboy.
But if there's a class to get the A in, that was the class I was going to get an A in. The First Amendment. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. But first off, academics is so hard anymore because I went to a very, my college was isolated in a bubble. Mm-hmm. Miami University, we were fortunate to be in our own world. We were not affected by any of these outward. Now it is. You go see Miami it is not the school we went to. It's so weird the culture we had and how quick the president changes and it flips on a dime.
The time we were there.
Well, no, and up until us, like it was well before us. It was that culture.
Sure.
But all you've got is a bunch of white boy frat boys and white girls living together on top of each other in one place with nothing else around them besides to get drunk. And anyway, I had philosophy and political science majors at Miami. The culture there was so open. I will never forget this black kid in my class in philosophy. We're sitting there. Professor goes, "Okay, everybody say one thing about yourself, right? Like say your name, say your major, your year, and something about yourself."
And it's supposed to be like, oh, I like dogs,
or have
my favorite food is pizza,
or maybe it was like some philosophical theory. It could have been even to that extent.
Okay,
but I thought it was just something interesting about you because it was that out of left field, but it could have had something to do with philosophy. I really can't remember. Mm-hmm. But everybody's going through, and then we get to the kid at the back, and he raises his hand, like, it gets to him, and he's like, "Yeah, my name's whatever, I'm a fifth year, and I think feminism is fucking stupid." And I was like, the whole class was like, "Holy shit!" All the girls were like, got their pitchforks, like, this kid's gonna die. And that was probably the most unsettled I'd seen a room get. But aside from that, we had the, like, across the spectrum beliefs in all these classes, right? We had, I'll never forget in my metaphysics class, I had a Bible thumper in the same room as, an atheist, and they were like going at it, just like, no, there's God, and the Bible says this, and it can't be the case, and she's talking about metaphysics, and like, no, it's just your spirit. I don't know, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But all of these conversations were able to happen and festered because we had an environment that was open. It allowed for it. We don't have that anymore. Mm-hmm. Now I left Miami, and people are not allowed to say what they want to say. We are on pins and needles. My sports law class, we're sitting there, and we're talking about men versus women sports. I made my sister cry at dinner, mainly because I think, as the smartest person I know, the person I respect on this planet more than anybody else, I think she is, like, she can be weak in some ways. When she doesn't want, like, things that she doesn't like, fact of the matter or not, it really hurts her. And it's like, so we had a conversation at dinner. Why are male sports coveted more than female sports? Is it because all the men in the world who control the market are just dicks and don't like female sports? Or, just going out on a limb, when Adam Ruins Everything was on Joe Rogan's podcast, he proposed we should eliminate men and women's sports and everybody should play together. And it goes, well, guess what? When you do that, not a woman gets to play basketball. No woman gets to play tennis. Mm-hmm. No woman gets to golf. No woman gets to play baseball, soccer. You all lose. And that made my sister upset, really upset. And it broke my heart because I'm like, Allison, you can beat me in all sports, except for scuba diving. I'll beat her every time. But she was in the Junior Olympics for soccer. She was beating boys up and down. She would play on the boys' team and be the best on the team. And then I pointed out to her, Allison, and then they reached puberty, and that stopped.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm not saying men are the best. that, and she was like, well, you guys, and I'm like, no, it's not a team thing, because that's not me. I'm a fat lug. I can't do half of that shit. Men can't beat men, all men. But the fact of the matter is, men, the best men, beat all women.
And that's the thing about professional sports, at least here in America. I mean, I'm assuming probably all over the world, is that when you get to the NBA, the NHL, the NFL, the major leagues, these are the best in the world.
Bingo.
And when you are competing against the best in the world, you need to have other people that can compete with the best in the world.
When does a WNBA basketball player get to score on LeBron?
And that's what I'm saying is, when it comes how disheartening would it be if you're a girl playing on a team like that and you don't even stand a chance.
You don't even make it to that level. You don't even get to play.
And it's not a men versus women thing. It's biology. Men are naturally, on average, taller than women.
I think it was
more
muscular. And that's okay. You're allowed to be...
Dude, they're more muscular than us in this room. We all have sausages between our legs, and they're bigger than us. They are bigger humans than us, because guess what? The biggest of men are bigger than men.
Right. Exactly.
Bingo.
And you want that for your team. And you're allowed to be upset by it, and that's fine. But it's biology, and there's nothing we can do about it. And so that's why we have different leagues, is just so that the playing field is a little bit more even.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So back in 2015, the Australian women's Olympic soccer team played a U15 boys team. And they ended up losing, I think it was like 7-0.
Wow.
Bingo.
Interesting.
Exactly. Just
bingo.
Because of that. Not that they're bad, but they're playing people similar to them, right?
Yeah.
It's that competition. They're not used to playing men.
Right, yeah.
Men just play on a different level because we're, what you're
Right.
saying, biologically more
so
physical.
Tying this back into the bow, tying this all with a bow. In this sports law class, the conversation was about men versus women's sports, and in colleges, like why the men's program, some of these cases where the men's program is getting more money and all this other stuff. It's like, well, they make more money, they have more attention, whatever. But I wanted to bring into the conversation, because I had these types of conversations in my philosophy classes. We were able to have these open dialogues about anything and talk about anything. And so I raised my hand and I'm like, well, this is all fine and dandy, this conversation of, men's versus women's programs, but the line is going to start getting really blurred. And what are we going to start doing with transgenders when you've got a boy who's transitioning to a girl and he's wrestling girls and he's kicking their ass? Like, that isn't fair. You're beating the pulp out of women, and it's being seen in sports across the globe right now. Yeah. I mean, you're seeing it in the UFC, you're seeing it in track, you're seeing it in mainly it's a big problem in physical sports. Like, where these people are physically fighting, like, wrestling, that's an issue, man. I mean, you have a boy that transitioned to a girl that's winning states in wrestling. It's like, whoa.
Right.
Like,
well, dude, so I'm looking at this story right now. This is apparently recently there is a male to female transgender person who runs track, and of course, trying to be all inclusive, they were like, of course you can run in the women's race. This person has a sub 13 100 meter dash, which is pretty fucking good, and this person is smoking the rest of the competition. It's like, yeah, because it's a dude running with women. It's like, what did you think was going to happen here?
Right. So these are the conversations you want to have, right? Like, these are the conversations that liberate and grow a society. Mm-hmm. And the class, dude, clammed up. They were all triggered, offended. Ooh, we're not talking about this. Ooh. And literally, I felt like the room I was isolated. I'm looking around like, no one's biting. That is a conversation no one in this room wants to have. You're all about to be lawyers. You're all about to have doctorates. You're all about to be high intellects of this society, and you don't want to have some of the most pressing conversations. And everybody just shut up. And dude, that is the environment I'm in right now. So here we are in doctorate school, and nobody wants to talk about the pressing issues. And that's just across the board. I don't know if it's because I'm in Pennsylvania. I don't know if it's because it's Harrisburg and the people that reside in Harrisburg, but it is a highly democratic and liberal society, that like environment, and it repels any contradicting thoughts, ideas, perspectives. The fact that I can take an immigration class and the professor bombs my grade, and when I meet with them, I come to find out it's strictly because I want a fucking wall. Like, keep your agenda out of my academic achievements. Like, this guy has a vendetta against an orange man in a White House, and you're taking it out on a kid who's got ideas. Like, you're sick, and that's being promoted across the globe. Like, our country is toxic right now. Shut down opposing thoughts. Don't allow free thought. And it's like, this is the epicenter of free thought. They go, first day of law school, we are teaching you with the Socratic method. The Socratic method. There is nothing Socratic about this academic environment at all. It's atrocious. And that's where school is at anymore. And so it's funny that it flipped on a dime. Miami is not the school that we went to. And I think that's what made us what we are. We went to a school that you could be in business class and you're talking about some real pressing issues because the professor lets you guys run with it. And the class allowed for, you know what, I may not agree with you, but this is where the class is going today. And I'm going to actually debate you on it. Because nobody wants to live their life in ignorance. At the end of the day, if you're holding on to a thought because you want to be right, you're the ignorant one. You're the ass. Don't be right, be wrong. Because you get to march on no longer being ignorant.
Well, and I can tell you at Miami, you know, as a marketing major and an entrepreneurship minor, one of the most influential classes that I ever took there was a social entrepreneurship class. And the guy was, he never outspokenly said it, but I had a feeling he was pretty right-leaning, but he very much wanted ideas and opinions from everyone, and he even if it wasn't his own belief, he was very engaged with it, very like open, very like, yes, tell me your perspective, tell me everything about what you think about this, because guess what, when you listen to people with different ideas from yours, you're gonna learn something. You don't have to agree with it, but listen.
But you might learn why they think the way they think.
Exactly, and that can help you have an open conversation.
Well, how about this one? I don't want to get into the debate itself, but even just what's going on with the country right now with abortion. Right now, you will be ostracized, kicked out of society, and pissed on if you say, I'm against abortion. But some of these people, listen, I'm pro-abortion, but at some point now I'm starting to get weary because now you've got people in Virginia and New York who are doing post-birth abortion, and it's like, whoa, where did you guys get this passed? Yeah. In New York you can do post-birth abortions, and Virginia it's on the docket to be passed. No, right? So why are you drawing a line? I'm not trying to get emotionally fired up here, but back to your point, where it's like, learn from the other side. You want to look at some of these, it's the ignorant women on their Instagram story who are like, shut up, no white men are allowed to talk about this. It's all white men making the decision for us. Fuck the men, blah, blah, blah. And then you want to look at them and go, but please, first off, grow up. It's not all white men anymore. Let's stop playing that pity game. But I'll play your game, even if it is all white men. Can we just play the game for a second and try to understand why people might be against this? Because, Louis C.K. said it perfectly. There are two ways of thought here. It's either, I'm taking a shit, or it's killing a baby. It's one of the two. Like, that's the debate. But when you get upset over somebody being upset over abortions, understand they're upset because they think there's an operation where people are killing babies by the masses.
Right, yeah.
Why would you not grab a sign at that point and go to this facility where they're killing babies for a business?
Of course, yeah.
My mom worked for Planned Parenthood, so, like, I can respect the abortion side, like, but it's starting to get a little creepy. We're killing post-birth babies. I'm not sitting here saying I believe Alex Jones, but if there's a conspiracy that I'd like to know, damn, I'd really like to know if they're selling baby parts and abortion fetuses. Because think about have you been able to see what they're able to do with stem cells?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane, man.
Dude,
and guess where you get the stem cells? The baby.
Yeah, right here. Right?
Yeah, your step.
Yeah.
Like Mortal Kombat. All right,
Got
all
some
right.
nice stems.
We're getting towards the end here.
Part of the bill is that the doctor has to say, finish him. Before he rips the spinal cord
It's
out
a
of the back
baby.
of the neck.
New York, the post-birth abortions. They pull out this baby. It's like, ah! Let's see if he's alive. Smacks his ass. Ah! Cool. No.
Finish him.
Okay. So we're getting towards the end here. The thing that we wanted to do was play a little bit of Would You Rather. So we went to. I haven't read any of these except for the first one. You know, these are really raunchy. We went for raunchy.
Let's do it.
It says at the top, freaky.
Ooh.
Would you rathers? Let's go with number 1. Would you send your nudes to a stranger or send your nudes to an ex?
An X.
X for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, sure.
What about you?
I do an ex. Do I get to pick the ex? Or is it randomly generated?
I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
At
care.
that point, who cares? Yeah.
Brian's in the mirror pic, like,
They've
fresh
seen
out
it
of
anyway.
Auschwitz, look at me now.
It's like my picture from Gulf Shores. The black and white. Did you ever see that, dude?
Over the back.
Yeah, dude. I'd take a picture of me looking like this in the mirror, just like really up close, and I have art. But then you look in the background and you just see my bare ass. In the mirror.
It's hilarious.
That's great. All right. Would you rather get oral sex or give oral sex? That's an easy one.
Yeah, get head, obviously.
Derp.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip down. Pick a number.
21.
Perfect. Keep them like lower,
Alright.
but under 50. Would you rather your girl saw a sex video of you? Okay, I wonder what culture wrote this.
Yeah.
Would you rather your girl saw a sex video of you and your cousin, or of you and her best friend?
Well, let me tell you what I did. I take my pinky finger.
did one of those already.
I did take my pinky finger and my ring finger. And I get. Put it right to sleep.
Put her right to sleep. She's like, it's big. Yeah, so wait, let's answer the question.
All right, I didn't even listen to the question.
Would you rather
have your girl saw a video? I'm sorry, the grammar's just pissing me off. I'm like, ah! Would you rather your girlfriend, see people, it's see, not saw, see a sex video of you and your cousin, or you and her best friend?
You and her best friend.
Yeah,
Duh.
that's a classic Kardashian.
Yeah.
Kardashian the
yeah.
shit out of that. Okay, pick a number.
Give me 12.
Swag. Would you rather only have sex in the bedroom or never have sex in the bedroom? Ooh, never have sex in the bedroom.
never have sex in the
Yeah,
bedroom.
you want to
Yeah.
spice it up every
Yeah.
time. Are you kidding me? That's like, why would you not? Why would you confine yourself to the bedroom? That would be.
Because sex on a bed is the best place to have sex.
I
Can
mean,
we acknowledge?
Yeah, but
it is,
if it's
yeah.
the only time now for the rest of your life.
Wait. What is it again? Going lawyer on you. Would you have sex in the bedroom? Damn, in the bedroom. I thought it said your bedroom, because I'd be like, yo, I'm fucking her in Truckley's bedroom all day.
Okay.
Damn. Alright, I'm going with 57.
You said. I love how you said keep the number low, below 50.
Alright.
And this first number is 57.
He's like, fuck it.
57 is my favorite number. Alright, we're going with 49. Would you rather be with someone who insists on raw sex or someone who insists on no sex? Raw sex.
Duh, obviously.
That is the dumbest one. Okay,
Who wrote
let's
these?
change it. Would you rather raw sex, or that she only gets raw sex, or only a condom?
Ooh, raw sex.
The question isn't what feels better.
Right. Would you rather have a girl who insists only raw dog or only condom?
Oh man.
I'm going raw dog.
I mean, there are benefits to both.
Oh, let's pretend she has like a latex allergy and she doesn't do the lamb sheep condoms. So the sheepskin condoms. So she's like, that's Kevin.
Ooh.
Well, hey, this is a perfect time to end it. It was great. It was a pleasure, brothers.
Gurgat, thanks for having us, man.
Dude, thank you.
Dude, thanks for coming down.
Appreciate
Everybody,
it.
thanks for
Yep.
watching. We're going to have more to come. I can't wait. It was a pleasure, boys. Thanks again.
Yeah.
Peace.